With all the plenty here in America, shouldn't we open our borders to all people who are struggling to get here? All of our ancestors were once immigrants, right? Well, maybe it's time to change old ways of thinking and simply eliminate our borders. But is it possible that the American way of life could actually be destroyed by letting anyone and everyone cross our borders illegally? As of 2020, current estimates say that over 700 million people want to immigrate to the United States. Could this present problems that we're not prepared to handle? The immigrants that came here in the latter half of the 19th and early part of the 20th centuries to begin their new life in America came ready to leave behind their cultures and assimilate into the American lifestyle of that day. We controlled where they entered the country and made sure that they were ready to become a part of this great nation by screening, educating, and testing them. Our citizenship process examined their knowledge of this country to make sure that they would be loyal to it. This is a reasonable requirement, right? It took considerable time to become a U.S. citizen to ensure that the foreign person was not coming here to overthrow our government. Today we live in a very different America. We see great numbers of people breaking our laws to cross into the U.S., not learning our language or respecting our values. Many in this country feel that we should take in all people who want to come here, regardless of who they are. Is it right to let everyone who wants to become a U.S. citizen do so without going through the citizenship process first? Are there examples in history that would reveal to us what could happen without our long-established citizenship process? Is it possible to learn from the past mistakes of a former world power? Can we predict the same outcome in America today? A quick look at some of the critical mistakes of ancient Rome reveal what could happen to the United States of America. The first Roman emperor, Caesar Augustus, founded the empire which prospered for over 200 years. Pressure entered in from the Germanic and Asiatic tribes to the north of the Rhine and Danube rivers. So constant wars with these tribes enabled them to occupy the northern territory of Rome. Rome, who always adopted the superior tactics and weaponry of their enemies, instead brought the barbarian tribes into the legions. The consequence of this was that the Roman legions started to implement barbarian ways. The military tactics of the barbarian tribes and of Rome did not change, but the discipline did. In simple words, Rome did not retain the tenacity of their past. The soldiers did not have common ground to stand side by side with their fellow legionaries and defend the cause of Rome to their last breath. Rome, in the last years of the Western Empire, let many foreign people into the empire because they were refugees of war seeking a place of sanctuary. In a political decision to smooth over his severely troubled reign, the Emperor Caracalla declared in 212 AD that all people in the empire were to have Roman citizenship. He did this to boost his failing popularity. Many people who were given free citizenship did not pay taxes, so the infrastructure such as aqueducts, roads, and public buildings fell into disrepair because all the money was spent on trying to maintain a strong military. The biggest problem in the latter part of the Roman Empire was the lax attitude of the barbarian peoples who were brought into the Roman army. The Romans had lost their cutting edge of discipline. Up until 390s AD, the Roman armies could take a loss and quickly allocate another experienced army, but after 395, with the death of the Roman Emperor Theodosius the Great, the Roman military lost a series of wars leading up to the overthrow of the city of Rome by the Visigoth king Alaric in 410 AD. By 420, the amount of barbarian peoples in the empire who had not thoroughly adjusted to the Roman way of life had reached a breaking point. By 447, Attila the Hun had worn out the Eastern Roman Empire with his plundering and was looking for new areas to raid. The West, with its easy-to-penetrate borders along the northern Danube and Rhine rivers, made easy pickings for Attila and his Hungarian hordes. Attila was stopped by Rome in 451 AD at the Battle of Chalon, also called the Battle of the Catalonian Plains, but now the severely weakened Roman Empire could not stand firm against further incursions of barbarians, who eventually conquered Rome in 476 AD. Today there are people that are asking for all people within our borders and all people currently coming through our borders to be granted free citizenship with all the rights and privileges, without explaining the excessive costs to society that this will bring. We need to look at the past, and we need to remember if we want to understand and clearly see what the future holds. Could the current immigration issues in the United States of America be sending us down the path of empirical Rome? Is it possible for large groups of people who have not proven their loyalty to be willing to fight and defend America now? Even though Rome literally handed out Roman citizenship to all people within its borders, Rome still utterly collapsed and never recovered. Granted, immigration wasn't the only issue that led to the fall of Rome, but it was a huge contributing factor. Stop and think. Do you want for people who have not proven themselves ready to become U.S. citizens to be here? If so, then make room for 700 million. Tell us what you think below.